track studio, hitting in the static. This ain't no bedtime story, son, it's prophetic. Encrypt the signals from the shadows of the garden. We dig where the dirt got secrets, no parting. Microphone alchemist, scriptures with a twist. Peep the frequency, seeds in the mist. We drop bars like plagues, revelations in the cadence. Broadcasting truth while they trapped in surveillance. Wisdom with a watchman's blade. Fourth watch style while your whole system fade. Blood moons, Nephilim, echoes in the pine. Sasquatch stomping through the fault lines of time. We ain't mainstream, we ancient stream. Cipher with the prophets, decode the dream. So if you tuned in, better guard your mind. It's broadcasting seeds and we breaking the design. Yeah. Straight from the broadcast studio. Hidden in the static.
Welcome to another broadcast of Broadcasting Seeds. Tonight we're here with Michael Collins from Wandering Wolf Productions. This is going to be a good one, folks. Michael, tell us who you are, what you do, and where we can find you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. That's a good question.
No problem.
I don't know what I'm doing half the time, so
Same.
That's
I don't
a good question. I have a YouTube channel. I travel around the world filming ancient sites and documenting sites, sharing that with people, host tours, and we're doing conferences now. So stay pretty busy. But yeah, all things ancient, really.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
What's the best place to find you?
I think most people might be familiar, can go to my YouTube channel, Wandering Wolf. And then my website's wanderingwolfproductions.com. And then you can find me on all socials at WWolfProd, Prod.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Simple.
Very simple. Let's keep
Very
it simple.
simple.
Yeah.
Some people, man, it's all like you have congruency. A lot of people they're just all over the place. It's like, holy crap, man.
I wouldn't be able to find my own stuff.
Make it as easy as simple as
that.
possible, right? Oh man. So first question I like to ask everyone is, what was your entry into this world that we're in? And I say high strangeness because it kind of blankets the entire thing. You know, you're not really a per se cryptid guy, but you do ancient sites, and that goes down all kinds of rabbit holes.
Yeah.
That, you know, so what's the thing that got you into this world that we're in here?
Yeah, man. Some of it touches on things we were talking just a minute ago. We're both veterans, and thank you for your service, by the way. Didn't we just have
You too.
Veterans Day or something?
No, Veterans Day is next week.
Next week. Okay.
The only reason I know it's Veterans Day is because I'm a Marine.
Yeah.
And it's the day after the Marine Corps birthday. So we're kind of crazy about the Marine Corps. 250 years this year. So it's the same with the Army, though. It was the Army's birthday. Yeah, maybe that's what you're thinking of. It's like a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Maybe
I was a Marine in the Army, so I just never learned the Army stuff.
Yeah. Oh, anyway. You kept the Marine mentality the whole time. I bet they loved you.
No, they hated me. So that was kind of made me want to do it more.
Yeah. So. So I served during an interesting time. I was in the military, in the Army when 9/11 happened. So I was already enlisted. And going through some training. When 9/11 happened, I was out in the field.
Wow.
So things, as far as military life goes, everything changed dramatically. You know, we had open bases. Anybody could drive on base and off base, and motor pools were left wide open. And by the time I got back from the field and the training I was doing, everything was locked down. It was just totally different. And, so the following couple of years, I had been training for Kosovo. Everything shifted to Iraq. my unit was training for Kosovo, and everything shifted over to Iraq. Well, I came down on orders during the training that I was doing when 9/11 happened for Korea. So I didn't get to go with my unit, and I ended up over in Korea. And you know, it was an interesting time. There were some things that happened, but I was, you know, if you're serving in the military, you gotta get a peek behind the curtain of how things really happen. And there were a lot of things that didn't make sense about 9/11 to me. And I don't know where people stand, but for me, you know, there's no way I can watch those towers fall and not see debt charges. You know, it was just clear. It's just clear as day that they're blowing out level by level. And if you've worked with explosives, I mean, it's obvious. And that started churning around in my head, and that was sitting there for several years. And then when I was getting out, you know, there were some other things that were really, you know, they were trying to make, I was 2 weeks from getting out, and they were trying to make me do the anthrax vaccine. And I said, no, they didn't like that, but I was getting out in 2 weeks. And, you know, some of those things as the years progressed, I got more and more interested in things like ancient history and stuff, right? So, you know, at the time, there wasn't this big community of people. I don't even know if YouTube existed way back then, but then, you know, when YouTube did kind of start and come around and it became a thing, there wasn't this big community of and you know, plethora of content on ancient history. So what was everybody watching that was into this stuff? Well, they were watching Ancient Aliens, and I was seeing places that I'd never heard of before because of that show. So whether you know, believe in aliens and that aliens built everything or not, that was a lot of people's first introduction to some of these sites around the world. It was for me. And as people started creating more and more content on that on YouTube, I started doing deep dives and going into rabbit holes, all sorts of topics, not just ancient history stuff, but everything. And I was working in a career that I hated. I was working in sales. I ended up finally finding my way into, you know, somewhat of a career doing sales work after the military. And that went on for 12 years, 10, 12 years, something like that. And I was just miserable. And it led to a whole host of issues in my life. And what I realized was, you know, none of, I was making great money, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter how much money I was making. I wasn't happy. And that was just, I realized, you know, that was just not enough for me. I needed something more. I ended up dating a girl, and she traveled a lot, and I ended up down in Peru, and I went to, you know, my first megalithic site, which was Sacsayhuamán. As soon as I went to that site, put my hands on those stones, I just knew that that was what I wanted to do. I had quit my job already, and I was about a year into that. I decided I was going to travel for a year. Went to that site. I knew that's what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no experience filming or anything like that. And I just thought, maybe I can just pump some videos out. I had an army buddy, and we'd connect after we both gotten out of the military every year, do hikes and stuff like that. He'd carry a GoPro around, my buddy Kirby, and make these hiking videos. And I thought, well, maybe I can do that with this. Started doing that, and it just kind of grew into this thing that I decided I wasn't going to quit on. And that, you know, that's what I did. Is a lot of times I wasn't making any money. YouTube wasn't paying the bills.
No.
And, you know, I think it took me years to get over 1,000 subscribers. And then, at some point, you know, my content, I think, started resonating with people to the point where the channel started growing. And some of that was calculated. I knew there were places that I wanted to go and see that I thought would be really great that nobody else had done. At the time, it was China. And I felt like if I got over to China and filmed Longyou caves and Yangshan Quarry, I would have something that people would have to pay attention to, because at the time there were only pictures and they were old. And so I got over there and filmed that site and then released it, and it did. People were coming to my channel to watch those videos. Now you can find all sorts of videos on those places, but at the time, I believe I was the only person that had gone there and filmed it.
Right.
And so that really helped the channel grow. And then I just really started enjoying getting to some of these more far out locations and places that were less known about or had not been documented well. That's getting harder to do these days because everybody's doing it now, right? But I really enjoy that, getting out to really far out places that are pretty hard. And I like the travel aspect of it, the everything that's involved in doing that and pulling it off. I really enjoy. There's
Right.
a short version for you of how we got from there to here, I suppose.
So what's your favorite place that you've ever been?
Oh, Baalbek, probably.
It just
Baalbek's just amazing.
speaks to you?
Yeah, it's I've said this many times before. It's kind of like the Rosetta Stone for ancient stoneworking features at megalithic sites. It literally has everything. At that location, you can find everything. And Lebanon in and of itself is just amazing. There's things there that aren't even recognized yet. And, you know, we stumbled upon a quarry that hadn't been identified at a known religious site. There's a site there for one of Jesus's first miracles where he supposedly turned water into wine.
Yeah.
And there's a it's on a quarry. There's a quarry there, and everybody just walks by it, and it's like railings and stuff built up, and you just walk past all of that, all of the quarry to get down to this cave where the miracle happened. And it was blowing my mind. I was just like, does anybody know about this? Like, Lebanon's amazing. And another place that's really stood out to me, just for the experience, was Bolivia, and going to see Pumapunku and Tiwanaku. But Peru is incredible as well. I could live in Peru, and Ireland was one of my favorite trips. But that really, both sides of my family have Irish descent, and
Yeah.
that was really kind of special to me to be able to do that. But yeah, it's hard to pick just one. China
Yeah,
trip
no,
was amazing
absolutely.
too. Yeah.
I can imagine. I during 9/11, I was in Egypt.
Mm.
When it happened. We were a part of a multinational force there, watching the Israelis on one side and the Egyptians on the other, making sure that they're not fighting.
Yeah.
But we got to take some R&R time and go to Giza, and it was pretty crazy. We got to go there. We got to go to Alexandria, and then to Mount Sinai. Well, it's what they call Mount Sinai and whatnot, but who knows that story?
Yeah.
That if that's the actual mountain,
Right.
But
Yeah.
either way, we got to go through St. Catherine's monastery that's at the base of that, and the monk that gave us a tour is this guy. He had lived there 35 years. He was from Ohio, and showed us all the codexes and just this library of that's insane. And I think we got to see it because we got, it was a special tour for us, for military guys. But then I got to walk Mount Sinai, walk up. I mean, you can take camels, but I decided to walk it, and it took like 6 hours, and it was awesome. But
nice.
So that I love those things, man. I love history in general. So I guess, what about? So you've got North America, but what about the United States in particular? I think we had talked about this when we were on Occult Rejects together, and I think we brought it up. I brought up what are the places in America that just kind of blow your mind a little bit. I know we talked about the Sage Wall, but there's got to be other places too.
Yeah, Sage Wall is amazing, and I've really been trying to plug them a lot lately, as far as they've done a lot of research on that site, and they have made that all public. It's released on their website. It's sagemountainCenter.org, and so they have a whole
show notes,
whole page there with all of the release, all their data from the research they've been doing up there. So LIDAR, ground penetrating radar, lab analysis of the stones and stuff. They've released all that publicly now, which is amazing. And yeah, Montana's great, and that's a great site to visit. There's other places here in America, and I think that people aren't fully aware of how much ancient stuff is here in America. There's a massive mound culture that existed here in America, and there's literally, I think, millions of mounds across the U.S.
Cahokian stuff, and
the Cahokia is incredible. You can walk right up to the top of that, which is amazing. There are dolmens scattered about.
We have a lot of dolmens.
Yeah,
up in New York. I have a bunch.
Yeah, and I think it's Balanced Rock is a really impressive one up there in New York. I actually have a video on that, just a walkthrough video walking around it and showing it, but out on my channel, which is really good. So there's a lot of places, and obviously if you get into the American Southwest, you really get into places like Chaco Canyon and different places like that are pretty incredible, and then petroglyphs and things that are really worth looking at and exploring.
What's the American Stonehenge up in New
I've been through there.
Have you been there?
Yeah, I got a video out on that one too, on the channel. It's interesting. I would like to I did a video on that where I just filmed me walking the site, but I'd like to take that footage and do a more introspective video where you're getting some more details and information, because some of that video it's just showing you the site. There's no dialogue or anything, but it's a really cool site. And the owner, I'm sorry, but I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I got to talk with him for a bit, and it's really interesting. He's running that whole site and has been for years, and it's really cool. It's set up and done well for access to visitors.
Yeah, I haven't been up there. I don't want to go, so it's not that far from me.
Yeah, and it's not far from Balanced Rock,
right?
Relatively speaking. You got to keep in mind I'm from Texas, so
right. So the East Coast is a little
everything's close comparatively, at least on the East Coast.
Comparatively.
When I get up there,
you're like, it's an 8-hour drive. That's nothing.
Yeah, whatever.
Like here,
yeah, it takes 8 hours. You
can get almost
to drive
anywhere in 8 hours in the Northeast. So I mean, you're going from New York to Maine.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what do you think? And you brought up Ancient Aliens earlier, so it's kind of piqued I just went and saw them. Their like road show that they do last year. It was interesting. It's pretty funny. Yeah. I've watched so many of the episodes, but what do you think is going on in the Grand Canyon, man?
I tell you what, man, that's one of those places that I've wanted to just sneak off into and just explore. I think it totally makes sense. There's all sorts of features if you dig into about the Grand Canyon that don't make a lot of sense. There's, if you go look at the names of some of the peaks there in the Grand Canyon, it's Temple of the Sphinx, they're all Egyptian names for all of these supposed natural features there in the Grand Canyon, right? They're all named after Egyptian, temples and things. And then if you start looking at them really closely, you have a lot of really like 90-degree angles and stuff in some of those cliff sides where, if it was carved out by water, that shouldn't be the case, right? And then
you wouldn't think so.
Yeah. And if you've seen enough collapsed ruins and ancient ruins as I have, they really do have a feel of, ruins, it's easy to let your mind look at some of those spots and see what they might have been actually, if you're choosing to look through them of the lens of potentially being ancient ruins that are just in total disrepair and collapse. And then obviously, you have the stories of what was the gentleman's name was that
I can never remember it.
Yeah, that explored down there and reported on finding Egyptian artifacts, went back to the Smithsonian with those reports, and then they took him off of the assignment, and then all of that area became off limits eventually, right? So,
So
and then
bizarre.
those areas are still off limits. And I've explored the Grand Canyon. I've done rim to rim. I and stayed and slept down inside the Grand Canyon. And it it's wild. It feels like you're in a lost world type of a situation, And yeah, I'd really love to go off trail out there into those areas. And
It's just like, why do they? I mean, they say it's a safety issue, but it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
what?
I think, and I don't know if we talked about this on Occult's Rejects or if it was somewhere else, but I've said this for years that if we want to find more ancient stuff in America, we're going to have to look at, I don't think people realize how much of the US is effectively off limits because of the federal government, designating it as protected land or federal land, or closed to people. And honestly, if you really want to put your conspiracy hat on, you can go back to when when they designated all of this land across the country as national parks and federal land.
Yeah.
That was more of a move to like hide these different locations and areas where there may be things worth investigating. It's hard to say that, what are you going to know? I mean, unless you can go out there and explore it, you'll never know.
Yeah. It's like, why would they do that though? Like,
Right.
and it's one of those things, like, you sit there and you just try to ponder. It doesn't make any sense. Unless they're trying to control a narrative, but why does it even matter? Like, I don't know. It's
There's
bizarre.
a real, I think it would, if we found evidence of ancient civilizations and stuff, you're talking about in America, we'd have to rewrite our entire, all history, not just American history. That would rewrite world history. And then, there's been a carefully crafted narrative of manifest destiny when people were coming over here and settling the land and moving into the land from Europe. This idea that had been pushed for so long of the whole concept of manifest destiny and different things like that, right? So it's a whole rewriting of history, world history, because you'd have to look at, well, where did if people built this, then the narrative that we have about the people that were already here is wrong.
Yeah.
And the people that did come over here and create who now it raises tons of questions.
It does.
And it's interesting. Those are interesting concepts to explore for sure.
And I think it's bizarre that, though, and I understand people, you get this a lot in this community, right? With everything from cryptids to even biblical stuff to everything, is that what ends up happening is like, bottom line is, we don't know shit. And as soon as something new comes, they're like, okay, this is what happened, like Clovis. So this is what we found. This is it. This must be the first, Clovis first, that whole thing. Right. And we're going to stay in this little box, and because it's easy and it accounts for everything, and anything below there, we're not going there.
I've never really understood the academic need to present things as final and figured out.
And they do it with everything. They the proverbial they,
Yeah.
right? I mean, they do it in Egypt. They do it everywhere. The academics that whatever they dig their heels in, it's like, this is it.
Yeah.
And then they end up having to shift the goalposts when somebody dies or somebody has so much, convertible data or proof that they have to move the goalpost then.
Yeah.
And it's like they just don't want to do it, or maybe not the goalpost, but the first down markers, right? It's like that chain is like so heavy to try and move for anything that just people get that tunnel vision in it. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy. And
Yeah.
I do understand it because now that I've been in like the Sasquatch community,
Yeah.
I get why these people hold on to this, blood and bone to the death, is because that's what their entire livelihood is based
Right.
on. So I get it, but
it's, and maybe you can understand this a little bit, because I compare this a lot of times. It's an easy mindset to understand coming from a military background, because I have a lot of friends that have been in combat and done different things that if you try to talk to them about that, a lot of these wars and different things have been, none of them have been for the reasons that we've been told. There wasn't some greater ulterior motive. It was all for profit, and it was all for all sorts of other different things that it puts into question the things that they did, and that's too difficult to look at. Right.
yeah, it's
So
too big.
they double down, and their whole identity for the rest of their life becomes about on the military service, right? Because they can't face the idea that some of the things they did were not, that maybe in some scenarios they were the bad guy because they were fooled, right? And so you have that same type of mindset, especially in academic circles, where you've built, if you're a guy that's been an archaeologist, for example, and you've been chasing a theory and stuff, and you've built your whole career for 30 years on this, and you're, a tenured professor, and you've put out multiple books, and you've contributed to this idea, you don't want to, you're not going to want to, you have every reason as a human to resist the idea that everything that you've done for the last 30 years could be not accurate, and it was just a piece of the puzzle. It wasn't the answer. It was just a part of it, right? And that's hard for people to do. Just like it's hard, I think, for veterans a lot of times to look at their service in a way that's reflective of all the information.
Yeah.
And so it's a tough mindset. And so approaching things with the idea that we don't know anything, we're just asking a lot of questions. And as you really get down to what truth is, you can start checking off boxes. But most of the time, questions just lead to more questions and stuff. But the cool thing about that is it starts painting a bigger picture, right? Instead of this narrowly focused idea of some linear development of our timeline throughout history. It's much more complicated than that. And, it leaves space for your brain to really, better understand the world in which you live in. A lot of times it's practical even to, in your present day, in your present time, and how you move through the world. Anyways, that's my 2 cents on that a little bit.
Great. No, it's amazing. It's good. Absolutely. I know that this has made me less rigid in my thought processes, is because as soon as you start, what I've learned is that as soon as you start to think you know it, you get slapped in the face. And then, no, little boy, you don't know nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because here's how it is, at least for this week, right? Is there any place that you haven't been that you would love to go to?
India and Greece and Russia.
And Greece.
Out of all, I've been to so many places, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of ancient sites, and around the world, and I still haven't been to India, Greece, which is crazy.
Yeah, India's wild, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've only got a taste. Like it was like like a touchdown hangout, and then we were off again. It was wild.
India's a
That is an
place I want
old
to.
culture, man. That
Yeah.
is just, it's so different.
I tried years ago for several years to get over to India, and something kept happening um, where I had to cancel those trips, and then the opportunity, so many other things started happening. It didn't get back on the radar, and it is now, and I'm hoping to get over there maybe in 27. India's a place where when I go, I want to be there for a month or two. There's so much to see, and it's such a massive country. It's going to take that long, and I still won't
Yeah.
even come close to seeing everything. And then Greece is one that I'm hoping to knock out next year. Because I got to get over there and visit Greece. That's crazy that I haven't been to Greece. I've been to everywhere else in the
Yeah.
Mediterranean
Right.
except for Greece, which is crazy. So I've been to Spain and Italy and Egypt and Turkey and everywhere, and Lebanon and
Yeah.
all.
Literally, you had to like leapfrog Greece to get to
I
any of
know,
it.
right? And Malta,
So
I've
bizarre.
been to all those places, and I haven't been to Greece. It's just crazy. So I need to get over there.
Yeah. So you never got to go to Kosovo, did you?
No. I got sent to Korea. Yeah.
Man, I can tell you too. I spent a year in Bosnia, and man, it's just that it's those mountains have secrets, bro.
Yeah.
Like there's stuff that's really old. Like, I mean, we were spending time every day. We drove by this castle, right? That
Mhm.
was up perched on like the side of a mountain. And that castle was built in the, like 10 something. And it's just like to see something like that.
Yeah.
And just know that there's other things around it that are even older. You're just like, man, this is wild.
My buddy, we joined the military together, and we've been friends since I was a kid, since I was a teenager. We're still best buds today. We joined together, and he ended up going to Kosovo and Bosnia. He did a tour over there, and then but he only ever had really cool things to say about that, his time over there. I mean,
Food
even
was
though he was over there
awesome.
on, combat missions,
Yeah,
he still loved his time over there.
same. Yeah, the food. The other thing, I'm kind of a foodie, so I love the different foods everywhere.
Yeah,
It's
same,
just a part of I'll eat anything, and I
same,
usually end up getting sick,
same. Yeah.
but whatever.
Do you? I never get. That's one
No,
thing.
I wouldn't say I get sick. It's just there's times when I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
probably shouldn't have done that, but whatever. And I was like, whatever, and I'm fine. But
That's one thing I feel really. I drink the water, I eat the food, I never get sick. I
yeah,
feel
that's
really
awesome.
lucky about that, and it works out pretty well considering that I travel so much. So that's nice. And I
Absolutely.
always feel like I need to knock on wood after I say that, or it's like
Right.
the next trip I'll just get
Next thing
deathly
you know,
ill.
you're getting like trigonosis or something.
Yeah, exactly.
you know, Ugh,
But I pet the
carry
animal.
a life straw with you.
Yeah, I pet all the animals. I eat all the food. I drink all the water. I don't know. It's whatever.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I've been doing this. I've been doing a lot of research on headwaters, right? And
Mhm.
they're like temples and religious based stuff that's built next to these headwaters, and so many of them are in India.
Yeah.
That they have temples at the headwaters of like every single major river in India,
Yeah.
or going up even into Nepal and um, Bhutan and whatnot, where all the glacial runoff comes from. And I can only imagine the temples and what those, I mean, some of them have been there thousands of years. It's unreal. And they're up to, I wouldn't say up to date, but they're maintained.
Are
So
you
it's
familiar with
wild.
Adam's Bridge in India?
No.
So there's you know, scientists always said it was just a natural feature, but there was this what looked like a underwater, but they said it was a natural reef that connects India to Sri Lanka.
Okay.
And there's an ancient Indian story about a king and his wife being stolen from by another king, if I had that right, and escaping over to Sri Lanka, and then that other king building a bridge to get over to him. And then they've found recently, in the last decade or so, I think they have proof now that is an actual bridge. It's an ancient bridge, and you can see it underwater. You can see it from Google Maps.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to get down there and check it out.
Absolutely.
But
what about Africa?
What about Africa?
You been in Africa? So you brought up Adam's Bridge. Have you ever been down to like South Africa, like Adam's Calendar, places like that?
No. Egypt's the extent of my travels in Africa. Unfortunately, I'd like to explore more.
Have you heard about Adam's Calendar?
No. Is it
okay? So it's a megalithic stone circle down in South Africa, believed by some to be one of the oldest man-made structures in the world. They're talking like 75,000 years old.
Really?
Yeah. So it's nicknamed Africa Stonehenge. But so I can't remember the guy that I first watched this on, but it's unbelievable. There's this Adam's Calendar, but then there's all these other structures that just they're all around it. And you're talking about hundreds of these structures. So you should look it up online.
Yeah, absolutely.
Potentially one of the oldest man-made structures in the world, predating Stonehenge and Giza by a lot,
Yeah.
So
that's right up my alley. These places that don't get a lot of attention or are hard to get to.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
It is. And you've got that. And then obviously like you have the Rishat structure. You haven't been there though, right? No. I don't even know what to think of that. It's one of those things.
Yeah, I get asked that every once in a while, and it's not really on my radar. It's not a place I'm really.
Yeah, same.
Probably.
I'm good listening to Jimmy Corsetti talk about it.
Yeah, there's other guys doing it. There's Archaic Lenses out there right now, I think. He's just posting a lot of stuff from his trip out there right now on Twitter. And David Stig has been out there several times, so they've got videos out on it. Yeah, it's not really on my radar as kind of a point of interest. Other people are documenting it and diving into that. I really like to go to places where it's there's clear megalithic ruins. The megaliths are what really intrigue me, and the older the better.
Yeah, for sure. So like this place, I don't know. I can't pronounce. Like it's like the Baalbek stone ruins, right? And that's Adam's Calendar's part of that. But it's like this 10,000 square kilometers.
Wow.
Like 150 kilometers long, north to south, and about 50 east to west. The area is estimated to have once been occupied by the Bako, some people, but that's a huge area, and there's just these stone ruins all over it.
Yeah, I have to check that out.
So, and it's one of those places that's not, it's like on the, I wouldn't say it's desert, but it's, it's like that area, like kind of more like a savanna type. So stuff is kind of preserved because it's getting, it's not very humid. It's pretty cool. So anyway, it's a place that's always hit me because I've heard about it. I have family that lived in South Africa and Botswana. So they were straight like Afrikaans folks.
Yeah.
And
this was really interesting.
Yeah. So I heard about it from them when I was young originally. So yeah, pretty neat.
Anyway, very cool.
You learn something new every day, right?
You do. We were talking before the stream, and this is funny. Funny. I kind of feel ashamed, and I was hanging out with Hugh Newman from Megalith Mania over in the UK, And he was giving me crap for this, but you know, I went over there. I did this Stonehenge equinox thing where you can walk all amongst it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Hey, you got to come with me tomorrow. We got to go down to Avebury." And I was like, "Okay, what's there?" He's like, "Well, it's like the world's largest stone circle." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I was like,
Like,
"I've
aren't
never
we
heard
at
of it."
one?
And he's like, "What do you mean you've never heard of it?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. I never UK's not been a place that I've just like been like, I'm gonna go check out all this ancient stuff for whatever reason, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's so much stuff to see over there actually.
So much stuff. And I've always wanted to go to Scotland and like gone through above,
Scotland's great.
above the Hadrian's Wall. Um,
I've
and
done that.
just so much stuff because
Yeah.
nobody ever talks about the Picts because we don't really know much about them.
Mm.
Right.
Mhm.
But there's all kinds of ruins,
Yeah.
kinds of them. And it's like, you just don't know because they didn't write. They didn't do any of that. And
Yeah. Scotland's beautiful. That's a
yeah,
beautiful trip. I did it a couple years ago, and then Ireland's incredible. It's amazing. It's got Newgrange and dolmens everywhere, and a
yeah,
lot
the
of cool stuff.
dolmens. I did the other thing that's cool are those chalk, like the chalk pyramids or the chalk mounds that
Mm,
they make out of chalk. Not in that's more in England, right? That
mhm.
you know what I'm
Oh,
talking about.
the like effigies, the pictures and stuff on
Well,
the
that, but these are actual mounds that are made with chalk. Um, they,
like long barrel.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I checked that out recently on my trip.
Yeah, like Silbury Hill, which is in Avebury,
Yeah,
not far from Stonehenge, right? But
yeah, all
you
that's
know,
pretty close to each
and
other.
it's covered with like sod, but underneath it's
Right?
all
Yeah,
chalk, right?
yeah,
Just like, what are we doing, man? We're just
yeah,
building
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, is it like a lookout tower? What is it? What are we
yeah,
doing? Yeah.
yeah.
So
The one I visited out there, it was on a hill. Um, yeah, and it was kind of like, what is this? And um, it's funny because I didn't know how I was supposed to get out there. There were no clear markers, and I ended up driving my car all the way up to it through a field, and then realized that that you were supposed to like park way off. It was like a mile hike, and I just
oh
directly up
man.
to it across farmland, basically, um,
Wow.
in and out.
Wow. Was it? I don't think it was you that we were talking to, but I feel like I was talking not that long ago about a guy that we're all over the place right now, but down in South America, we're talking about like the Inca,
Mm,
right? And, or even, you know, just where they lived, obviously is very mountainous, right?
right.
And there's these little like lookout. Where did I hear this? I don't remember, but somebody was looking at these little lookout um things that are like perched on like the side of some of these mountains.
Mhm.
Like you've got like Machu Picchu and like and the other things, but you've got these little tiny, like they literally like sentry spots
Right,
where it looks like they might have communicated with fire.
right.
Like
Yeah,
the British are or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
The
yeah, yeah,
Spanish are coming
yeah.
and they're lighting watchtower fires like Lord of the Rings or something,
Right,
right?
right.
And that they've got them dotted. You can get up into one and you can see something like one in every single direction. I
Yeah.
can't remember who was talking about that. I guess it wasn't you though.
No, but
And
Peru
that
is an incredible country
just
full of
fascinating. And we don't know anything about Peru. I mean, there's so much that's hidden.
yeah, so much
Not
left
just
to be
Peru, but
revealed there.
all those cultures,
Yeah.
Mayan culture, all of it. It's
Mhm.
such a mystery, but yet there's so much there, but yet it's such a mystery. So
Yeah, absolutely. It's Peru's I think only just begun to reveal all of its secrets.
yeah,
Yeah.
the jungle. I mean, you get
I could live
with
there.
LIDAR and things like that, it's changed the game, but it's still,
Yeah.
you still have to get there.
Yeah. that's an amazing country. It's just like, and I look at Cusco kind of like the Rome of South America. It's just, uh, that's such an amazing, I love it there. I love that city.
And you say you can live in Peru.
Oh yeah, I could live in Peru. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you like cuy?
It's okay. It's greasy.
Folks that don't know what cuy is, it's guinea pig. So
We did I did a tour there last year, and our last dinner together, we did a big traditional cuy meal and everybody brought it out. And a lot of the people were just like freaked out. The girls were freaked out. Well, what they did was they brought out these cooked guinea pigs, but they put little dresses and hats on them.
oh my God. Wow. That's amazing.
So obviously some of the ladies on the tour were like, what the hell? They were like,
Yeah.
crying. And but everybody tried it. Cuy's, it's good, but there's not a ton of, it's not like eating a chicken or something. There's not a ton of meat on it. Like,
No, it's like a squirrel.
yeah.
There's
And
not a lot of
it's
meat.
really greasy.
They're fat little things, man.
Yeah. So it can be, that's one of those, I may have an iron stomach, but that's one of those meals that can kind of upset your stomach a little bit because the meat is just so greasy. But
Yeah.
it's fine. I don't
Just
typically
it is
order
what
it
it is,
unless
right?
it's like for like what we did there and on that tour for Peru.
Right.
It was like a kind of a special thing or whatever.
Yeah. Cuy
Yeah.
and potatoes.
Cuy and potatoes.
About what you got. Ah, man. Absolutely. So kind of get towards like wrapping it up a little bit. One of the things that I love to do, my last question usually to folks is, because the name of the podcast is Broadcasting Seeds. And that's what we're all about, is planting seeds in people's minds, right? And watching them grow. And I always like to give the guests an opportunity to plant some seeds.
Yeah. It's funny because, I was talking with my writer today, Kay, who's amazing. We co-host a live stream on my channel weekly. And I think right now, moving forward, it's at least within this community, I think that the most important thing is, this is when you're talking about exploring history and looking into all these ideas, I think all lines of thought are reasonable, and I think it's important for people to remember that just because you don't agree with something or you think that line of thinking or research is off base, it's still important for people to pursue those paths independently. Like, everything bears fruit if their ultimate goal is that they're looking for truth. And so I think moving forward and especially, into this next year, as things continue to grow and grow, because we're not ever going to run. This is the cool thing about this area of interest, is we're never going to run out of new stuff. There's always going to be new stuff being discovered and new ideas being presented and ways things change and shift in terms of our understanding of the past. And I think it's really important for people to be supportive within the community, to get plugged in places, because things are getting big enough that that's one of those things that's really important. And the thing that keeps resonating with me is community and collaboration. And so, understanding that, if you and I have different opinions on aliens or cryptids or something, that's fine. Where's our common ground? Right.
Yeah.
And even insofar as, you know, communicating or working with people in academics, in the academic field of, making it easy for them to start understanding that we are their target audience. If they want to grow and keep up and not have programs and things shut down at universities the way they've been happening,
Yeah.
they're going to have to meet us in the middle. We are their target audience, but let's do that with open arms, in a way that's you can. I think that critique and accountability are things that need to happen, 100%. But we can do it in a kind manner. And so the things that have been really resonating for me and have always resonated with me was for starting all of this. And really once I started getting going was wanting to inspire people. I shared a bit about my story and I can't tell you how good it feels. I can't put I was making way more money back then than I am now. And I was miserable. And I wake up every day now and I'm grateful and I'm happy. And I can't put a price tag on that. I would never go back just to get those paychecks to where I was before and give up what I have now. And so and one of the biggest things that came from all of this, of me doing all this and wanting to inspire people to find that for themselves as well and different things as that, was meeting people and really valuing people. And so I think that that's where the community aspect really comes in and connecting with people. Cause I do believe that, we talked a little bit about stuff like America and looking at sites in America. I do believe there's more to find. And I totally understand that not everybody can go off and travel all around the world, but there's plenty of things that people can do and explore in their own backyards. I live in Austin, Texas, and there's cart ruts here. There's multiple cart rut sites here.
Yeah, it's
and I know of
crazy.
places like that all over the country. So there's something near you that you could be involved in, and you could go take a hike on a weekend and take pictures of, and then share it with the community. Get involved somewhere on social media or in your favorite, your favorite content creators, live streams and things, and talk to people and connect, or go to conferences and connect with people in person. There's all sorts of stuff that people can do. And by doing that, your ideas, people's ideas and their theories and different things that they're working on, they get to be bounced off of other people's thoughts and ideas and hear new perspective. And that's how we'll grow things even quicker. And that goes for all different areas, not just megaliths and stuff, which is what I'm into, but every kind of branching alternative area of interest, right? So that would be, if I was going to plant a seed, that would be it, is be the thing that you want. If you want growth within the community, be that growth. If you want friends within the community, go be a friend. If you want to see things get worked on more in this way, and don't be discouraged by numbers and things on,
Yeah,
I mean, if I let that discourage me when I started this, I'd have quit years ago, because it took me almost 5 years just to get up to any kind of semblance of, probably longer than that, of like, is this happening? And so
yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm just making videos for nobody, is what it felt like for half a decade.
Yeah.
And so,
and then one day just like clicks, right? You're like, holy shit, here I am.
Yeah. Stick with it and contribute. People, I think everybody has something valuable to share, whether it's their opinion or, like I said, going out for a hike and taking pictures and sharing that.
Yeah. What's the old adage that they attribute it to Gandhi, but it's not. It's not him, I don't think. I thought I had him. Oh, there it is. Be the change you wish to see in the world.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, like, so true.
Because what happens is, if you be that thing, you'll see that thing reflected back to you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I want to be a podcaster and a filmmaker.
There you go. And then you just start, and then just stick with it.
Just got to do it. Can't do it unless you do it.
Can't do it unless you do it, right? Sometimes life's really simple. We're the ones that make it really hard.
Yeah.
It's our expectations a lot of times get in our own way.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Man, tell people where they can find you again.
Yeah, absolutely. YouTube channels, Wandering Wolf. That's with an A. A lot of people spell it W-O, but it's W-A, wandering around, Wandering Wolf. And then my website's wanderingwolfproductions.com. And then again, all my socials are W-Wolf, P-R-O-D. I do tours, so if people want to join me on that, I've got a book coming out, should be out before the end of the year, and started doing conferences. We have a conference going on in Scottsdale, December 5th through the 7th, Quest for Ancient Civilizations. It's going to be a banger. We just announced this week we've got Randall Carlson coming on. He just joined us. Randall Carlson will be there with us, and a whole amazing lineup. And
who doesn't
I'll be
want to
speaking
go to
there too.
Scottsdale in December?
Yeah, be nice and warmish, I guess. I don't know.
Warmish. Yeah. I love Scottsdale. So
yeah. So yeah, you can find all my stuff. You can watch my footage on Ancient Aliens and different TV shows. Also, do a lot of drone footage for stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming on, man. It's been a pleasure.
Man, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We'll do it again soon.
Love it.
Footsteps from the unknown. We've walked this road before, but history locked the door. Shadows in the ruins, but tonight we rise again.